My name is Divoni Simon, and the history that I have with film career is that I have no history. This is my first film, and afterwards I have more projects that I've already written. As far as what I would like to pursue in storytelling is that I like to not exactly quote-unquote answer, but I like to question human existence. I like to question thematic issues. I like to really go deeper within the crust. What inspired me to write this story was that I was really at the time of my life looking at myself from my former point of view. I was at the time not exactly quote-unquote satisfied, so I really wanted to write a story exploring that side of my life. And well, I realized it was really a transformative experience for me while writing and while also throughout production, and answered certain things about myself, while also the biggest question was my question as far as accepting responsibility. And I realized that that's a question a lot of humans, let's just say, have a problem either with accepting or really understanding that. And I really wanted to nail that in the film as the best that I could. I realized that filmmaking would be something close to my life the minute I started typing on that screenplay. It took me 2 weeks to write the screenplay. The question I asked all of my actors was really, how do you feel about responsibility? I remember asking them that during, I believe, the process between casting and auditions. They all gave me their answers. As far as the adult actors, Sean A. Kaufman, Kim Paris, they all gave me profound answers. Whereas the child actor, Joshua, he's not at that point in his life to really understand. So his character, I should say, was more of representation. The ultimate representation as far as responsibility in the face of fatherhood. Rehearsals, I realized that due to the location that I knew automatically while writing the screenplay, I wanted to do that in my house because I felt like not only was I familiar with the setting, but also really dives deep and can familiarize myself as far as the mood, as far as what I really want to tell, and as far as the idea, because where else to best realize the idea than at your own house. During rehearsals, many of the times I referenced older films. For example, let's say John Ford films, certain films, even Akira Kurosawa films. I really wanted to dwell deep into characterization. That was the biggest goal as far as writing the story, as far as filming. I wanted the audience to connect more than just on a cinematic level. I wanted them to connect emotionally with the characters they see on screen. The best part about being on set was every minute of it. The second the actors walked in to the second they all left the set. What I was stating before was the ultimate responsibility, which is in the face of fatherhood, accepting any type of responsibility. So what I found interesting was the fact that being on set, as far as especially first-time filmmaker, director, writer, whatever, it was a lot of pressure on my shoulders. And I felt, while filming, that's very relatable as far as what any father may have probably feel, especially when you think of it in a figurative way. When you think of, like, for example, your project is your child, just as way as Roger had his actual, literal child within the film. And learn how to accept it, not only accept, but really learn how to control the ultimate responsibility. As far as conquering and dealing on set, I remember really just organizing the time, because we had a very, very tight schedule. You have to remember, we did this in about less than 4 days, 2.5. So, originally the script I wrote out was 47 pages. That's a grand monster. So we had to cut out a lot of that during production and even post as well. So a lot of, decisions had to be made. as far as a business level. Really taking off the imagination hat and put on the directing hat on. I had to really step into the stress level and really control the stress level. As, being a filmmaker is no easy feat if you want to do it the right way, because there are many ways you can do it. I wanted this, my first one, to be something that anybody and everybody can remember. And the only way to do that is to really just say, F it, you know what I mean? Just go in full balls of glory, you know what I mean? No looking back, can't stop, won't stop. The protagonist and the antagonist are actually one and the same. The antagonistic side of Roger is what prevents him from accepting responsibility, prevents him from growing in his life. I mean, the story, he's 32 years old, still lives at home with his mother, depends on unemployment checks, doesn't have much going on in his life, and he seems totally content. I hope the audience realizes that while, albeit this protagonist isn't 100% about them, they can at least see that there are similarities as far as in terms of accepting responsibility or lacking of. And hopefully they can actually see the fact that maybe the areas of where they're lacking are the consequences that may soon come. I think what makes a film great is when, that quote everybody says when they put their passion into anything, blood, sweat, and tears. When you can actually, I feel as if when you actually watch a film, you can actually feel the intensity of the moments. You can actually feel the passion. For example, let's say Paul Thomas Anderson's Boogie Nights. That's one of his great ones for me, apart from any other. You can actually feel the passion they put in, just the same as Watermelon Man by Melvin Van Peebles, And I love the fact that, yes, it connects with you on an emotional level, but you can actually see how a filmmaker can actually fall in love with the characters. And when I say that, I automatically think of Martin Scorsese's Boxcar Bertha, So when you really love your characters and you connect with them, you spend more time with characterization, and the audience can sense that, and they can dig that vibe. Chase is a hell of a producer, He definitely has his eyes on sharp mode 100% of the time. He definitely knows what he wants, what he expects from his crew, cast, and he's definitely easy to communicate with. And if you want professionalism, I definitely recommend him. Looking back on the film, really almost every scene, especially the scenes where there's a specific scene where Roger and Sadie were in the kitchen with Junior sleeping in the kitchen. I really love the back and forth of the dialogue between those characters, because it's like playing a game of Hot Pocket, you know what I mean? Hot potato, I should say. I feel proud, but I'm still trying to keep on a modest level. I'm not going to say it was all me, because there's no I in team. So everybody really put their best foot forward, and I'm proud of everyone. I love Akira Kurosawa's the blocking and the framing of his works. I love Spike Lee, obviously Tarantino, Scorsese. My favorite all-time filmmaker is Stanley Kubrick, though. Every single project of his. And honestly, I actually have a book at home. Every single film I watch that I really fall in love with, I write them down in my book. A lot of the times, I can't really name. I have over like 50 directors in there, so I'm in love with films even in the 1940s. I couldn't exactly financially afford to go to film school, so I had to do the Quentin Tarantino version of film school, which is really just staying in my room, watching a whole bunch of films made back in the way days, and really teaching myself and studying, And I loved every minute of it, and I still do it to this day, and I'm planning on doing it as soon as I get home. My advice to any filmmaker now, knowing what it's like, not just daydreaming about it, it's either you invest your everything into it or you don't do it. You have to sacrifice. So that's what I had to do. The most important lesson that I think I learned as far as having an impact on the film was really just be yourself, be original. You know, being original really helps. Yeah, you can. Anybody who watches the film can say I was inspired by, let's say, Charles Dickens, you know, and or Adam Sandler's Big Daddy. Which, to be honest with you, I haven't watched those films years prior before even writing, so maybe they stuck to me on a subconscious level. But it's really more important just to be original, even if it means creating your own genre, and that's what I really wanted to do. Some people saying doing a comedy is hard, some people saying doing a drama is hard. I really wanted to do a mixture of both to test the obstacles as far as telling a story, an entertaining story, that is.
Don't ask me, she came out of nowhere. It's like the thin air spat her back out at me. Sadie came back with a kid, Mom. I don't even know where to start, Sadie. I mean...
Step up for once in your life and be something.
In a city full of
I like my life the way it is. I've got no problems to worry about, no bills to pay, no people to see who I don't want to see, no job, no commitments. Hello there, ladies.
What do you have that we want?
I don't care if the little brat's bed gets built or not, okay? He's not my problem.
Well, baby, it looks like your good vibes lied to you this time.
Get out! Quit making me chase you, you little brat! Come take a shower, I don't do run. Oh, girl.
You're 32, Roger. You're gonna have to start growing up sometime.
Fine! The hell with you, why should I care? Eat all the sugar you want!
Junior, where are you?